Hello and welcome to episode 103 of my Working with Todoist series. And in this week's episode, I'm going to tell you all about the difference between a task and a note. Hello and welcome to episode 103 of my Working with Todoist series. And this week I want to go through the difference between a task and a note. Now, this is a regular question that I keep getting on this channel. How do I tell the difference between a genuine task and a reference material or a note? And so in this week's episode, I want to show you when I'm processing my inbox, how I decide whether something is a task or whether something is a note. And therefore, I can tell whether to send this to my Evernote account or to put it into a project in my Todoist account. So without any further ado, let's get straight into it and have a look in Todoist. Okay, so here we have my inbox that actually is my real inbox, except for this one that I've just added for this demonstration. So I have 4 tasks that I've collected today, and it's the early evening when I'm recording this. So as I process my inbox, I usually start at the top, which is a good place to start. And I've got here Andrew Neil's message for the Jihadi Johnnies, which was Andrew Neil, who is a journalist in the United Kingdom for the BBC, and he gave a rather passionate speech at the beginning of his television show earlier this week. I think it was on Wednesday night after the recent attack in London. So I wanted to keep this because of the way he was speaking. So this to me is actually a work-related task or note. Now, I know the way that I work, and the reason I captured this, because I have watched it, is because I may want to include it in a presentation that I'm going to be showing later, actually on Monday. So what I'm going to do is I go straight into my task. I don't need to give it a priority because I don't know when I'm going to be putting this in, but I do know that this is for a presentation. So I do all my presentations at computer, so that's an easy tag to put in. And I also know that this is going for the Roche lecture, or it's to be considered for the Roche lecture. Now, because this, to me, my Roche lecture project is what I call a creative task, so this doesn't need a date, so I can just hit return. Check AMC homework. This is a class that I teach at a local hospital here in Seoul. It's a nurses class that I teach. This I know is a task because obviously this one is given away by the verb check, AMC homework. Now, I captured this in a rush. So what I'm going to do is check that AMC students have done their homework. And I said I would send them a reminder next Friday. So I know what I'm going to be doing. This is going to be it's going to be an evening task. So I don't need to actually put in a priority for this one. I know that this is going to be done from my iPhone because I'm going to send them a message. And I know which project this is because this is going to go into my student affairs project. So there we go. I want to do this on Friday, so I'm going to put in Fry, and that's it. It's gone. Now, here's another one. How to chase depends on time. 2 weeks before, be polite. 2 days before, don't be polite. And I actually captured a picture of something I'd written on the wall. So I know exactly what this is. So this is actually, again, to do with the Roche lecture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put at computer because I know it's to do with the presentation. It's also for the Roche lecture, so I can click that. And again, I don't need to put a date in it. Now, here's another one that I've actually captured here, which is 16 tweetable quotes from Seth Godin on being remarkable. So this is not a task. This is not even something that I'm going to read later. This is just something that I want to keep, and I just sent it to my Evernote as I was going. So for me, this immediately, I know exactly what it is. It's a Evernote task. So what I'm going to do is I capture the task here, and I'm going to send this to my Evernote, and I just click on Evernote in my share sheet. Here it comes up, and I can just save directly to my Evernote, and bang, there it's gone. Now Evernote's giving me a heads up, so it's telling me sharing link. So in this particular case, it hasn't given me the title. So as I'm doing my processing, I'm actually going to put in Seth Godin's quotations, because if I don't, when I come to process my inbox later this week, as you can see here, my inbox has got several items in there. I am not going to remember what this is, and maybe I just delete it by accident. So that's why I actually have my Evernote open at the same time, and I can send articles directly to Evernote. So basically, that's how I process. Once I've done that, I can check that off, and it's done. And now I have an empty inbox. And essentially, that's how I process my inbox. And I'm deciding as I go through my lists as to what something is. So a task is, to me, is something that's very obvious. It's something that I have to do. But something like a list of quotations, well, that's going to definitely be an Evernote task, and I'm going to send that directly to Evernote in that situation. So hopefully that gives you some idea of how you, when you're processing your Todoist inbox, you can decide whether something is a task or whether something is a note that you want to keep for reference later. For me, it's not actually a difficult thing to do. It's just a matter of asking questions in my mind as I'm going through my inbox about how I want to be reminded of it. So as you saw, most of those tasks today that I collected in my inbox were related to this process that I'm actually, this presentation or lecture that I'm preparing. So most of these have gone in there. They've all got their labels. They've got the notes just to remind me because I'm capturing when I'm on the subway and so on. But that's it. That's how I process my inbox, and that's how I decide whether something stays in Evernote or whether I will ship it out into Evernote for later reference. Okay, I hope you found this useful. Don't forget to join me again in episode 103. But until then, I wish you all a very, very productive week, and have a really, really good remainder of your weekend.